Welcome back to CryptosRus. I'm George. We're all George. So, what happened? Yesterday, it was looking bleak. People were predicting Bitcoin going to 20,000. And all of a sudden, we have a huge recovery back above. So, why did this happen? Let's talk about it. And let's talk about everything else that's going on in the world today. Let's do this. Look at this. 26,000. That's a pretty good recovery, right? That's a V-shape. That's what you call a V-shaped recovery. So, I'm actually a little bit early. The market bell didn't ring yet. But today, you could see that it's not looking so good for the U.S. market, right? But these days, Bitcoin and crypto does not really move with the U.S. market. They have like kind of decoupled, so to speak, right? There's the market bell. That was a little bit too early there. But we'll see what the market, we'll see what the market does today in the U.S. Although, like I said, they have pretty much decoupled, but it's good to see Bitcoin right back above. Now, yesterday, one of my major points was don't be fearful of that death cross. Okay, now it's early. It's only been like 12 hours. But I told you guys, a lot of times when a death cross happens, because it's a lagging indicator, that you actually find bottom and reverse, right? But there were many people that were hung up on a death cross. People said, well, we're going to go way below, go back to 20,000, right? Well, it didn't happen. Now, not saying it can't. Like I said, it's early. It can flip, go back down. But this kind of shows you that the bulls, the long-term holders, are not giving up. No way. They are not going anywhere. And the fundamentals of Bitcoin has never been better. I've been saying that for a long time. People don't want to listen. But it's true. It's true, and I'll show you a little bit more about that. But let's see. Let's see what's going on today. Let me cover some macro stuff. There is a big inflation reading tomorrow. Okay, this will definitely weigh on Powell's it'll weigh on his mind, because if inflation goes up suddenly and more than expectations, it's going to force him to reconsider his stance of no rate hike later this month, and weigh on his mind for the next FOMC meeting, which is in November, and that is to raise the rate once again. So I think tomorrow will be a big reading. Now, the unfortunate thing is oil prices have been going up. Okay, so when oil goes up, that affects shipping, that affects manufacturing, it affects a lot of things. So unfortunately, we probably will get an uptick tomorrow, but I don't know what the expectation is. We're at 3.2% for CPI. I don't know if it's like predicted to go up to like 3.4% or whatever, but if it all of a sudden goes up to like 4%, it would be absolutely disastrous. I don't know what the expectation is, so I haven't seen the number yet. But that is something, right? So obviously, if inflation goes up in a big way, well, then Powell has to be a lot more hawkish, as they say, right? And maybe, 2 more rate hikes, right, instead of 1. But if it's still in line with expectations or below, then we're okay. But tomorrow will be big. We'll be big. All right, so there's that. Today, Apple 15 is launching, and they're getting rid of the lightning connector, whatever connector you call it. I don't know if there's a better name for it, but they're going to USB-C finally, okay, because everything else on the planet is using USB-C, and finally they're going to adopt. So all of you iPhone guys, right, get ready to buy some new cables. I find it funny that none of the new phones even give you charging cables anymore. They don't give you chargers, so you're forced to buy and spend even more money on top of the phone. That's kind of funny. But anyways, will that cause Apple to go up? Or are they going to have problems because China right now is suffering so badly with their economy, can they even produce enough iPhones? We don't know. We don't know. All right, what else is going on? Well, let's talk about, of course, Bitcoin. Why did we bounce back? Okay, why all of a sudden it looks so scary? I even talked about the FTX situation, right? And the death cross and everything else that's going on a global scale, macro scale. It looks so scary. Why did it bounce back? Well, quite simply, it was just oversold. That's it. From a technical standpoint, people are saying, well, look at this line showing this and this, and it's bounced back. I mean, quite honestly, that's how you explain it. When it gets very scary, that's usually a sign of a reversal, right? The phrase, buy when others are fearful and sell when others are greedy. I mean, that's where that comes from, right? Yesterday, it seemed like it was so doom and gloom all over, and it didn't make a whole lot of sense, right? You never give up on Bitcoin, especially when the fundamentals keep on improving. So look at this graph right here. Someone charted two things. The gray is Bitcoin's price right now, okay? You look at the black line is representing the exchange reserves. And you could clearly see since 2020, it's been dropping and dropping and dropping. And what is that orange line? Well, that's a supply last active 10 years. That's people that are holding on Bitcoin for 10 plus years. Do you see that number go down? No. It keeps on going up. And it's the same thing. Supply last active 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 7 years, 10 years. They're all at all-time highs. This is part of the fundamentals. Long-term holders and even short-term holders, no one is leaving. When you have such strong conviction and faith among Bitcoin holders, no matter how much FUD there is, and no matter how much short-term volatility there is, it does not matter. We continue to HODL and we continue to DCA because we know Bitcoin is the future. We know Bitcoin will surpass its previous high one day and form a new high, like it always has, right? So that does not change. This is part of the fundamental. And you could see supply and demand, right? Supply is plummeting. Wait for the next halving event and then the one after that. We will see Bitcoin's supply. If we redo this graph, you will see that the exchange reserves will go all the way down, possibly to 2015, 2014 levels. That's when it will become much, much harder to buy Bitcoin because it will be much, much more expensive, right? This shows the same thing. Long-term holder supply, right? Keeps on going up and up and up and up. And the only time it deviates really is when we have a bullish top. Okay, so whatever we top out, why does the long-term holder supply go down? It's not that it goes down, it's the short-term holders go up. Whenever we have a parabolic run, like back in 2017 when we hit 20,000 and like 2021 when we hit 64,000, right? That's when retail investors came in and FOMO'd, right? So that's why you see that little dip, right? But it's funny that retail investors, non-Bitcoiners, like to FOMO towards the top. Yet they disappear when there's low prices out there, right? Like if you love Bitcoin at 60,000, why would you not love Bitcoin more at 26,000? It doesn't make any sense, right? Well, it does. I get it, but I'm making a comparison here, right? You're shopping for a car, your favorite car. Now, you could buy it for 60% off. Why would you not take advantage of it, right? It's kind of the same situation. But over time, people will know because long-term holders will continue to buy and HODL and buy and HODL and buy and HODL until one day the supply is so scarce, it's going to be too late. Too late. That's when Bitcoin will be above $1 million each, right? And let's not forget, a lot of talk about ETFs. That talk did not go away. It's still being talked, and it's still going to happen. Bloomberg analyst says $150 billion coming to the Bitcoin market once BlackRock's ETF gets approved. That's only the beginning. That's only the beginning. But yeah, 150 billion injection into Bitcoin, that's going to make some moves for sure. Okay, so that is awesome, and they're not the only ones. We got 7 other players like Grayscale and Van Eyck and Invesco and everyone else that are jumping in as well, and Vanguard too, and they're huge too. Everyone is jumping into Bitcoin, right? Every single person, and you got innovations happening too. David Marcus, who is now the CEO of a Lightning Network firm for Bitcoin, says that Bitcoin will bring global payments out of the fax era, right? He's talking about the SWIFTs of the world, which still takes sometimes days or weeks to process transactions, and they're very costly, right? Lightning Network, along with Bitcoin, can help eliminate that. So you got a lot of innovations also happening, right? And you got like fintech companies like PayPal that's making it much, much easier for people to cash out and to put cash in. And it's not just them. It's around the world. And there's a lot more brokers. I mean, there's just so many, okay? So we are still so early. But we definitely have so much more now than ever before, and more coming in. And what more am I speaking of? More innovations, more money, more services, right? More holders, more addresses, more hash rate, more of everything, right? This is why I am bullish, and I stay bullish no matter how scary it seems. Because if you truly understand all of this, there's no way you can be bearish. And let's not forget, I didn't even talk about the dollar or inflation. Well, I kind of did. But, you know, ultimately, inflation will never, ever go away. It'll never go away because they're not meant to go away. Even without 2020 through 2023, everything that we went through, even if we were just hovering along, there's still 2 to 3% inflation per year because that's what Powell wants. That's what a healthy economy needs, according to Powell, according to most central bankers. So 2 to 3% of your money buying power disappears every year. And it compounds. After 20 years, you're talking about like 100% loss, basically, right? That's why you need to hold on to assets like Bitcoin to preserve your buying power, to preserve your wealth. Otherwise, it just disappears, right? So this is why I'm so bullish on Bitcoin, and I don't think that's ever going to change. And the facts back up my bullishness, right? Because this is definitely time to be bullish, in my opinion. And the facts back that up. So it's true. All right, what else is there? Tomorrow, besides the CPI print, we will get Gary Gensler testifying ahead of the banking committee, and this is what he's going to say. And I love these like prepared documents, right? It always makes it seem like we want this, okay? Like the investors, the retail investors are asking Gary to be saved, right? Just look at the very first sentence. There's nothing about the crypto asset securities market that suggests that investors and issuers are less deserving of the protections of our security laws, right? Less deserving. It's like, oh, we want more security laws, Gary, so we deserve it. We're demanding it, right? He's making it sound like he's doing us a favor because we're begging for it. You know, I love how he wrote this, but throughout the whole thing, that's how he addresses it. I hope he gets grilled tomorrow, okay? Because no one truly believes that Gary is looking out for the good of the nation, for good of security laws, for good of crypto, for good of anything. No one believes that Gary is doing a good job. I just don't buy it. I don't buy it. All right. So there's that. We'll see what he says. All right. And also I saw this yesterday or the day before. Vitalik was, he got his Twitter or X account got hacked. And he revealed this is due to a SIM swap, which still happens all the time. Okay, so be careful. When you are using some kind of service, right, make sure you don't, and it's important and crypto related, right, especially if you have some kind of following, make sure you don't use, you know, your text messages for 2FA. Because if you do get SIM swap attacked, then the hacker can do a password recovery to your text, and then they can get access to your account, right? So it looks like that's what happened to Vitalik. It has happened to me before, many, many, many years ago. It has happened to a lot of people, so make sure you protect yourself. I actually, at my Vegas party, I ran into a person that said that he was SIM attacked too, and he lost millions. Never been able to recover that, okay? That's true. A lot of people got SIM attacked and they lost millions of dollars, right? So just be careful. If you're going to use 2FA, use Google Authenticator or Authy, actually an authenticator app. Don't ever use text messages or SMS as a two-factor authentication form, unless it's just like some service that you have if you don't care about, right? Like if you're, I don't know, buying movie tickets or something, right? Like you don't care, then maybe. But everything else, try to use a safe and secure authentication method, okay? And then lastly, I saw Arbitrum. I saw this, a little fun around Arbitrum, how it falls to an all-time low. I checked it out. It's still around $1 billion in market cap. But then I checked this out, DeFi Llama, which shows you the TVL, okay, like right here, TVL of all the top major chains, and Arbitrum is still sitting at a healthy number 4. So, you know, this might be a little exaggerated, maybe with the recent, you know, altcoin weakness, it has gone down a little bit, but Arbitrum is still sitting at number 4 with 1.65 billion in TVL. And that's double of Polygon and you know, almost triple of Optimism and Avalanche. So it's still sitting pretty, but there's no doubt that there is a lot of fierce competition. Base is already up here in the top 10 because it's also a layer 2. And then you have Optimism as well, right? And you have others that are EVM compatible like Avalanche and BSC. They're both EVM compatible. So yeah, I think Arbitrum will do just fine, right? Right now, just things are weak. I think there was some issues there's some proposed governance, but overall, I think they are still doing just fine. All right, well, look at this. Bitcoin is going up a little bit more, 26.2, right? That is fantastic. What is the U.S. market? U.S. market is still in the red. See, sometimes decoupling is a good thing. All right, let's do some Q&A. God, that felt good. All right, let me scroll up here. Let me see if I missed anything. Jack Daniels, I lost my faith for crypto. Very volatile and manipulated. Hey, that's anything, man. Jack Daniels, that's anything. Don't think stocks are not manipulated. Have you been following Tesla? Have you seen what has been doing? It went to 400, down to 100, up to 300, down to 200. It's actually more volatile than even Bitcoin. Everything is manipulated, okay? Don't let that discourage you because these big boys want to drive you out. These are all games that they play to drive you out. Let's see here. Samsung above Apple. I agree with that. I do agree with that. Let's see. Steve, you're lying to yourself. Let's see. Zio Bishop, well, you wrote that wrong. I really want to be in profit again. If you hodl and DC enough, you will. Gary will have his day. I'm hoping that you're not rooting for Gary. All right. A lot of chat today. A lot of chat. That's good. A lot of you guys are here. L. Lannars, what do you think about DD? I'm not going to say his name. You guys know who I'm talking about. He's so bearish. He really seems to have lost it. I told you guys this. I don't know his situation, but I know this. When someone is very bearish himself or herself, right, they tend to project. So the most bearish people out there are usually people that feel bearish because they either lost a whole bunch of money, they didn't DC when they were supposed to, right? Maybe they lost a lot to leverage. I don't know their situation, but the people that are really, really, really bearish all the time are just self-projecting outwards. That's really all it is. Some people like to spread FUD for no good reason because they feel miserable, right? A lot of haters, a lot of commenters do that because they feel miserable and they feel like bring others down with them to their level somehow makes them feel better, right? But that's different from like just bearish people, right? People that just constantly say, well, Bitcoin will go down and down and down and down and down. They're just self-projecting. Neth, or am I DCing these days? Still mostly Bitcoin. Are you still bullish on Gala? No. No, I am not, actually. After the lawsuits between the founders, can't stay bullish anymore. FUD Master B. I miss the days of looking at my crypto portfolio in the middle of the night and seeing an increase. It's been 2 long years. That's the thing. It's only been 2 years, my man. It's only been 2 years. I think you remember how good 2021 was, right? And I remember how good 2017 was too. We will get it again in 2025. In 2 more years, we will get those days back, right? It's not that long. Every cycle, we have more and more millionaires made. That's just how it is. You know, waiting 4 years to become a millionaire, I think that's worth it. Let's see. Tesla's still up. Coinbase is up finally big. Hot and Mara up big today. Coinbase, oh man, Coinbase back above 70. I mean 85. It was just at 75 recently. Let's see if it get back up to 100 soon. So today for Bitcoin-related stocks doing very well. Bitcoin itself doing a good recovery right now, right? Still, I know, not back above 30, but hey, looks a whole bunch better, a whole lot better now than yesterday when everyone's saying, well, how low is it going to go, 20,000 or below? I mean, narrative changed pretty quickly. Amsterdam needs a pump. What do you mean by that? I could actually make a joke about that, but I'm not going to. Who do you think has potential to become the next AOL of the Web3 space? Someone to oversimplify the whole process so the masses could jump in. It has to be ETH. For better and for worse, right? They still can't scale, so they're not like broadband yet, but they are definitely the biggest, running all the tokens and all the DeFi projects and NFTs. Jonathan, it's ETH for sure. The blood in the streets will wash away soon. Yeah, it always does. Red rubles. You have a good one. You should plan a new millionaire meetup in 2026. Well, next year, I will have WAG 2024 in Nashville in July. So hopefully conditions will be much better then. I'm counting a lot of you guys to show up, right? And then I'll have one in 2025 too. Fast food minimum wage. Most fast food workers in California will get a $20 minimum wage next year under a deal announced Monday. That's a lot. But then again, Californians need it. I mean, I see all these videos of looting happen in California and how no one can stop them, right? Like, you can't stop them. They tell their workers not to. I don't get it. I still don't get it. There's just so much crazy looting that happens in California all the time. Unless people stop them, they will continue to do it more and more. California is just like out there. I did say Nashville because Bitcoin 2024 will be in Nashville. It'll be right behind it. So you could get to go for 2 conferences. Bitcoin 2024 and then WAG 2024. JC, please name one coin you don't hold that you think will moon. Well, if I thought it would moon, I would hold at least one coin of it. So, JC, I can't really say it. I don't know. Like, most of the meme coins, Doge, Sheeb. I hate to throw Pepe in there because I don't like what happened recently with their insiders stealing a whole bunch of Pepe and selling it off. I don't like that at all, but there's still people that hold it. So in the next bull run, all these meme coins will shoot up and skyrocket too. So there, I gave you 3 of them, but I don't like Pepe at all anymore. I have a teenage son that's still in high school and works at Walmart. If they stop someone from stealing, they get fired. That's what I hear. And I heard they tried to throw in some legislation that would actually fine the people that try to stop looters $18,000 or something. And then at the last moment, they removed that. But they were trying to do it so that even being a good guy, you get punished as if you were a bad guy. Like, I just don't get it. I don't get the mentality for these lawmakers to do that, right? And that's why you see like Walmarts and Targets and CVS and Walgreens just close shop and get out of the community. Like, why would they want to be in a community where there's nonstop theft and then they can't operate, right? And the looters there just don't care. And they're actually affecting everyone else in the community that can no longer get access to these stores. I don't know. Newsom is supposed to be a presidential candidate, right? Like, man, imagine if he becomes president and he enables the same kind of things to happen around the country. That would be horrible. Anyways, got a little off topic there. It's one of the things I just truly do not understand about some of the laws that we have in this country. I got 3,000 people tuning in, watching the reversal right now. That's awesome. Make sure you guys smash up the like. Yeah, ascending bull. That's just wild. That's just wild. Lee says, why would anyone want to put themselves in danger by stopping a shoplifter when you're only paid minimum wage? How about just human decency? That's like saying, oh, if you see someone in trouble on the side of the street, someone has fallen, hit their head, right? Why should I stop and utilize my time to help someone, right? I mean, think about what you're saying. You're basically saying that humans should not be decent at all, that we should only mind our own business. And that would be a horrible place to be living in if everyone acted that way, right? I get you shouldn't be like jumping in front of a car or something like that and really putting your life at risk, right? But a lot of these shoplifters, they're like 50-year-old, 60-year-old, I don't want to describe who they are, but you could easily stop them. And they don't have a gun. They don't have a knife. They're just pushing their cart out the door. You could easily stop them, right? But Lee, don't think about, how about just think about just being a decent human? How about that? Will you be streaming the next episode of the show? If I get a copy of it, yes. If I get a copy of it after Thursday, then I could put it up for Saturday again. But if not, then you guys could all watch it on distro.tv. Hey, Salamando. They made it illegal to stop them. Why can't we all just get freebies? In California, I have the right to take up to $950 worth of stuff. Unfortunately, that's the mentality for most people, right? Like, think about it. If you could take $950 a day, how much is that? That's like what, $300,000 a year? Probably a little bit more than that, right? If you're living in California, just start walking into every place and just take up to $950 worth of merchandise or food. Right? If that's really how they want to, I don't know, if that's really how the laws are, right? I mean, it's just ridiculous. Scott, I'm glad you'll save me from the shoplifters. Yeah, it's $950 from each place. You could just go into like 20 places and take like $20,000 worth of stuff. Does $950 apply to banks? You know, Michael, that's a good question. Wow. What if you walked in a bank and stole $949? I guess technically they can't prosecute you either as a criminal either. It'll be considered a misdemeanor. Oh, all right. I think I've talked long enough. Bitcoin is still doing good though. 26,200. We got a good recovery, good reversal. Overall, you know, don't ever get bearish on Bitcoin. There's no reason for that. Stay bullish. The facts remain. It's just the best asset that we have. It's the one that you want to hold long term, all right? And the on-chain metrics, the fundamentals, everything else that's going on in the world supports this. So don't ever give up. Don't fall for the FUD. Continue forward, DCA and HODL, and I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. Last question. Thoughts on George Gammon's thesis on hard landing economic crash October 1st due to student loan repayment, job falling, and almost 50% of people making over $100,000 living paycheck to paycheck? No, it's not going to happen October 1st. All right, I guarantee that. It's way too soon. Maybe if he said October 1st of 2030 or something like that. No, in 18 days' time? No. All right, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.